what's up, Pep Nation? This is Shea Pierre from Pierre's Elite Performance, and I just want to thank you for purchasing the brand new Pep Fast Complete Multi-Directional Warm-Up Series Volume 1. Now, this is a very comprehensive, in-depth warm-up series that takes you through the exact protocols that our athletes use to get them ready for the speed and agility sessions. Nowadays, I still see coaches and athletes doing the exact same warm-up protocols that they did 10 years ago. A-skips, butt kicks, karaokes, acceleration runs. This is great, but this doesn't get you fully prepared for multi-directional movements where athletes are going into games or sessions moving at very high speeds. This increase in speed also involves sudden stopping, cutting, juking, pivoting, turning, transitions that you just don't learn in a linear warm-up. Our warm-up has been designed specifically to help you learn the details of the skills and the movement patterns that you're going to be doing in your sports to help you reduce injuries in your sessions or in the game. Now, our warm-up series has 3 phases. And our first phase is our agility prep. Now, instead of having our athletes just run around, do laps, skip rope, or do jumping jacks to get their heart rate up, we actually put them through the exact same multi-directional movements that they will go through either during their game or during their training session with us. Now, these movements are only done at about 60 to 70% speed to really focus on form and technique, so we can really break down each skill in that exercise to help reduce their chances of injury during that period, session, or their games. Now, our second phase is our mobility prep. Now, these exercises were specifically chosen because they not only mobilize, but they help develop balance, stability, stabilization, and strength, getting the athlete ready for all multi-directional movements to come. Now, our last phase is our ground-based dynamic mobility prep. Now, this just allows our athletes to kind of get into detail and to kind of get into the problem areas that they may need to seek out. This really does open up and mobilize the joints and helps prepare the tissue for the multi-directional training that comes next. Now, there are over 50 exercises in this warm-up series, but you're not going to do all 50 exercises. But what you are going to do is you're going to fully understand each preparation phase and then pick what best fits for you and your athletes. Now, I strongly recommend that you always start off with the agility prep phase, followed by the mobility, and then finishing with the dynamic flexibility. Now, I personally always have my athletes go through the entire agility prep phase, going 20 yards there and back. Then I pick about 6 to 8 mobility exercises and 6 to 8 dynamic flexibility exercises. Now, this really helps my athletes prepare themselves for all the exercises ahead. I also recommend that you foam roll of some sort before and after your training program, specifically before, because this is going to help out any muscles that may be bound down and tight, any adhesions that may be bothering you, or you may just be stiff. And this is going to help you just kind of loosen up a little bit before you start your multi-directional warm-up. Now, I also highly recommend, if you're an elite athlete or just somebody that really wants to take their game to the next level, to pick up our Pep Fast Speed training bands and add them into your multi-directional warm-up, especially our agility phase, because it really does recruit and fire up the muscle groups in your lower body, especially your glutes, your hamstrings, your adductors, your quads. It really does hit your whole lower body complex, and it really does strengthen up these muscles, really getting them activated for all your multi-directional movements in preparation for anything that you're doing. The final phase is our dynamic flexibility preparation. This is our ground-based preparation. The first exercise is a body fold. This improves spinal flexibility. The second exercise is called a cat-cow. This improves spinal flexibility, and it also stretches the muscles of the hips, back, abdomen, and chest. The next exercise is a quadruped thoracic spine rotation. The thoracic spine should be able to bend, flex, extend, and rotate to varying degrees. The next exercise is a plank pike. This helps create stability and mobility in the spine, shoulders, and hip region. The next exercise is a straight arm plank pike. This also builds stability and mobility in the spine, shoulders, and hip region, along with a calf stretch and a hamstring stretch when you drive your heels through the ground. The next exercise is a calf march. It helps create mobility in the ankles, calf, and hamstrings. The next exercise is a straight arm pike and single leg kick. This is an amazing stretch for the hamstrings and calves. The next exercise is a child's pose to cobra with a side reach. The child's pose stretches the lower back, shoulders, hips, and ankles, while the cobra stretches muscles in the shoulders, chest, and abdominals. The next exercise is a hip rock series. This is an amazing combo and one of our favorite exercises to do with our athletes. The first part is a lateral rock front to back. This dynamically stretches the groin and the hamstrings. Next is a lateral hip rotation. So you're thinking about turning that toe towards the sky. This improves mobility in the hips and groin area. Then we go to a front hip rotation. So thinking about that toe, again, going side to side with the leg in front of you. This improves hip mobility in the groin and hamstring area. Finally, we do a hip hinge. This is a dynamic hamstring stretch. The next exercise is a tactical frog with internal hip rotation. This mobilizes the hip capsule, adductors, and hamstrings, as well as an internal active rotation of the hips. The next exercise is a forward and backwards leg circles. This mobilizes the hip capsule and involves core and torso control. The next exercise is a half knee straight leg raise. This involves hip control, activation, and strength. The next exercise is straight leg backward sweep. This is a great stretch for the QL and hips. The next exercise is a side plank reach over. This is a dynamic hip and lat stretch. The next exercise is a side plank straight leg raise. This involves core activation and glute recruitment. The next exercise is a glute pump prone scorpion. This is an amazing exercise for back and spinal flexibility. You also get a big hip flexor stretch along with glute activation. The next exercise is a straight leg raise to iron cross. This is a dynamic hamstring and low back stretch. The next exercise is a ballistic hamstring kick and pull. This is a phenomenal, deep, high hamstring stretch. The next exercise is lying forward in backward leg circles. This is an amazing exercise for hip mobility and control. The next exercise is a lying ballistic hip pulls. This is a dynamic piriformis in hip region stretch. The next exercise is a lying dynamic straight leg raises. This activates and increases hamstring mobility and flexibility. The next exercise is a side lying leg raise, top and bottom leg. This activates the glutes, adductors, and hip region. The next exercise is a dynamic 90-90 pulse. This is a great stretch for the glutes, piriformis, and QL. The next exercise is knee fallens. This is a great dynamic hip region stretch. The next exercise is rollbacks and reach. This improves spinal flexibility and is also a great dynamic groin and hamstring mobility exercise. The next exercise is a hamstring dynamic hurdler stretch. This is an amazing dynamic hamstring exercise.